Okay, so Facebook friends and family, I am so excited today to bring to you a very important topic, which is men and mental health. And my guest speaker today has had quite the journey. So he's going to share a little bit from his personal experience and a lot about what he's up to. So I'm going to read, which I never do. I'm going to read the bio because I am just so intrigued by what this gentleman is up to. And I could not do it justice by trying to ad-lib it, and I did not memorize it. So I'm just going to read. So this gentleman is a self-discovery coach for men in particular. He's a best-selling author, podcaster, and public speaker, as I posted on the group. And, you know, he's had a very challenging experience, which I'm hoping that he's going to share a little bit about today, that has given him quite the awakening in terms of creating this next phase of his life and what he's offering. He's a visionary founder and CEO of Live More, so I want to know more about that. And this platform is a global engine for social change and personal growth. So that's really awesome. And he's had a lot of excellent help along the way and continues to develop strength and clarity within himself, and especially within those people that he coaches and interacts with. Another powerful thing that he's created is a course called The Lost and Found Man, which I'm hoping you will also share with us about. It's a course that's aimed at men who are disconnected from their lives and from themselves, and it offers a number of hard-hitting lessons intended to challenge, inspire, and awaken these men so that they can love themselves and find control, purpose, and joy. So, without further ado, I am bringing on Mr. Jonathon Tarrant. How are you, Jonathon?
I'm great. Thank you. After an introduction like that, how could I not be amazing? That was.
Well, you're amazing. You're totally amazing. That's why I wanted you to come on and share your story. And so why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
A little bit about myself. So where do I even begin with with that? As you mentioned, I have been through a very challenging and transformative time in my life in the recent past. It's a transformation that was a long time in the making, and I feel importantly it was of my own creation. You know, I had a lot of limiting beliefs and a lot of hangups and incorrect ideas about myself. A lot of things that were holding me back, getting in my way, and inspiring me to make increasingly poor choices in my life. And you know, to make a long story short, like as I mentioned, I did manage through a succession of increasingly poor choices. I did manage to bring about my own self-destruction, you could say. Like I had a family, I had everything. I had everything that I thought I'd always wanted, and I found that I was miserable, and I felt like an observer within that life, and I didn't know what it was all for, and I didn't know what my purpose was really, you know. And in that kind of,
Jonathon, you're sharing a lot about what most people go through, right? Like we're all trying to figure out our purpose. We're all trying to figure out where we fit in. And you know, we see the shortcomings in other people, right? But the fact that you were able to see it within yourself, how did that come about? How were you able to see what happened to you?
well, I would say that I've always had a reasonably good self-awareness, and I have gone through phases of attempting to address what I saw as my limitations or my hangups, address them by myself. But there were bigger belief systems, deeper belief systems in play that were also making that very difficult for me. You know, when you ask me, like, what was it that allowed me to see myself so clearly, it was the ultimate the ultimate breakdown that I had, finally getting to a place where I could no longer live as that person, and getting thrown out of my previous life, very justifiably, very unceremoniously, and very shockingly to me, uh, created this incredible awakening and an awareness within myself.
So I guess we shouldn't be afraid of breakdowns, because at the other end of a breakdown is a breakthrough, right?
Very often, yes, very often, a massive, the bigger the breakdown, often the bigger the breakthrough.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it's not a pleasant process. It's ugly and messy and kind of awful. At least it was for me. However, that proportion of breakdown has created tremendous change within me and within the course of my life, and I'm loving it.
Now I know you've written about this experience. Is that correct? Is that what the what you've like you've authored a couple of different books, but is that what you've talked about as your experience?
I'm sorry, Camilla, I missed the very beginning of what you said there. Can you repeat the
I know
question?
we're doing a little bit of technical difficulties here, but did you write about this experience?
Yes, I've written extensively about this experience.
And
And
what are the publications?
well, I've done two co-authoring projects so far, only one of which has been properly published. And so the most recent one, the really nice one that I'm most proud of, is called 30+1 Resilient Stories.
Okay, yeah, that recently came out.
Yeah, yeah, just last month. We had a big book launch just last month, and I'm currently waiting for the hard copies to arrive.
That's exciting. It's so different when you actually get to hold your book.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a fantastic process, and I'm really proud of the story that I wrote. It's all from the heart. It's all describing in greater detail, my progression towards my breakdown, and then what happened after that, and what I've learned, and what I can see clearly now. And I think the book as a whole, as a project, is tremendously powerful and will be very helpful for those that may choose to read it.
Great. Now I know that this experience that you've gone through sort of catapulted you into becoming a self-discovery coach for men, right? So what is it that you bring to the table that other men would benefit from?
What I bring to the table really is the emotional depth that I've got. I bring the integrity, the empathy, and the experiences that I've had, and also the frankly, the network of people that I have around me now is phenomenal, and the sort of bigger picture that I'm developing is really quite remarkable, in terms of, like, not only coaching for men specifically, but for the wide-ranging effects that can have, right, and with relationships that these men have with their children, with the effect that a wholehearted man can have on his children, and then of course the children are learning something different, and it cascades down into the generations. It's really, really exciting.
Yeah, that would be. Is there a specific type of client that you prefer to work with, or that would work well with you, given your experience?
Well, certainly, like, my ideal client, you could say, would be, I think, as you described a little bit in the bio, is a man who has, a man who would feel as though he's lost his way or lost himself. I think, a lot of men are feeling that way, and certainly a lot of the guys that I've spoken to resonate very powerfully with the story that I have experienced. So yeah, guys who are looking for greater purpose, guys who feel confined within or overly confined within the little box that society would put us in. You know,
Right.
we all get so much messaging about what a man is supposed to be or not supposed to be, how you're supposed to behave or not behave, and women get all of that same stuff too, as probably even more so. But it's as I said, it's very confining, and it is something that I began to really fight against, you know, in my own life. It's just like one of a multitude of things that were compressing me.
Well, I'm so glad you came out the other side and can now, inspire other men to do the same. That's awesome. You've also created a course. It's an online program called The Lost and Found Men. I love the title. Tell us about this program.
The Lost and Found Man, it's a really powerful short course it's intended to inspire and also shake up your beliefs and get you really much more deeply connected with yourself, with your intuition, with that inner voice, you know, and put you on a path to creating massive change within your life in a way that kind of make your life look more like the way you'd want it to look. You know, it's empowering you to take control of who you are and what your life looks like.
And is it only for men, or can women take this program too?
Certainly the content is not gender specific. The course is aimed at men because that is my chosen focus. The course is written for men, but again, the content itself is not gender specific in any way. So a woman who is interested could just as easily take it as a man.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I love the title, and I love what you're doing. Is the program available now? Is
Yes,
there
it is.
like a link that people can register for this program?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. There is a landing page. It's thelostandfoundman.ca.
Well, we'll put the link in the site afterwards so that people can easily just click on it. It'll take them there.
Awesome.
Are you creating any more programs? Are you looking to publish more things? Like, what's next for you?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm actually in the middle of writing a new and expanded course a new for a new global online platform that I'm part of. It's going to be very exciting, and the course is going to be a crusher. I can't wait to release it.
Oh, that's
It's
exciting.
going
I
to be
can't wait to know
it's
about
going to
it.
be yeah, it's going to be 20 short lessons, as opposed to, or in comparison to the Lost and Found Man, which is 5 lessons, which are going to be 5 lessons are a little longer than each of the 20 that I'm writing for the new platform.
Hmm.
At any rate, the new course, yes, is on the way, and it's going to be amazing. And I don't have any concrete plans for writing another book, but I do have one in mind, which will be entirely my own book and centered around the lore platform and the there and the philosophy of it. And I am excited about that. I just don't have like a deadline for that one.
That's pretty exciting. I love
Mm.
these projects. I love what you're creating. I know, look, I'm a female, and I counsel men and women. Uh, but I find that when somebody has a personal experience or a connection, that it makes the relationship way more profound.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
so
And
amazing.
that's what I love about connecting with new people and having the conversation uh, with new men and like making connections. It's like that personal interaction and that that moment when you both understand that you're really looking at each other, you're really seeing each other instead of simply looking at the persona. You know, when you make that connection, it's beautiful, and it can lead to such powerful conversations and such powerful benefits in one's life.
You, I mean, I know from my own personal experience that that's extremely rewarding. But people that have had a background or an experience with trauma of some kind find it very difficult
Mhm.
to get there. Do you deal with, you know, people that have trauma in their background?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Do you, I said, when people have experienced trauma in their
Yes.
lives, they find it very difficult to connect with themselves at the level that you're talking about. Um, do you deal with
Hmm.
do you deal with any men that have experienced trauma?
Absolutely, I do. I've been dealing there's one gentleman I'm thinking of in particular that I've been coaching, and also just being a friend for months, might be as much as a year at this point.
Wow.
And yeah, he's been through a lot, and you know, he's had far more than his fair share of challenges, and he and I have been working through a lot of it. And yeah, it's a process. You know, it's difficult initially if you've had a traumatic experience. Certainly, it's not something you're necessarily going to just want to open up about immediately, right? It's a very personal part of you, and often people are very guarded about it, you know. But through that personal connection, through that building of trust and a solid relationship, and finding a pace that works for both sides in terms of the communication, it becomes easier and easier to open up and begin to dig into that trauma and dig into the aspects of your character that bother you and things that you want to change. So it's a process.
You know,
There's no
it is a
sort of
process.
immediate fix for it.
Yeah, it's totally a process. And um, the thing that I find really awesome is that you've made that connection with a specific population to make a difference. You found your
Mhm.
purpose in doing that. And then now you're helping other people find their purpose, which is so amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel great about it. I feel great.
So thank you, Jonathan, so much for coming on the show today. Is there anything else that you want to, before we close off, is there anything that you'd like to share with our listeners or say that we haven't already talked about?
I didn't have a specific closing comment in mind. No, I've really enjoyed this conversation that we've had. I think that I would also like to mention, when you were asking me about other projects and things that I do, I also will just mention that I have a podcast, which is available quite widely across many platforms. It's called The Path of Self-Discovery with Jonathon Tarrant. As is the case with many of the things that I'm building and working on, it's still a bit of a work in progress, but again, it's something that I'm proud of, and it's, as I build it up, it will be more and more awesome.
Well, then why don't we do this? Why don't we post the links to all of your work so that people can know how to find you, and if they want to
Okay.
connect and work with you, that they can do that.
That'd be fantastic. I really
Yeah.
appreciate that.
So thank you for coming on, Jonathan. I know you're quite busy, and for taking the time today to share with us all the things you're up to. And I hope to have you back again when you've launched your other programs. But I certainly look forward to hearing from people if they've taken any of your courses, how they are, and let us know. So, you know, thanks so much for sharing your time.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's been a great conversation.
Yeah, great. Okay, Facebook family and friends, thank you for joining me today at Let's Talk with Camila. You can always reach me at letstalkwithcamila.com on YouTube, and look forward to talking to you all on Monday for Mindful Monday. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.